Cheap is not a word that applies.
The watch is often blurred. However, when you come to Guangzhou, you cannot see any problem just by looking at the appearance. What you need to be careful about is that the low quality movement inside will be sold at a high price.
My suggestion is you can try it first or buy it for a legal way. I'm Sean. See you next time.
You pay $4,400 for a Mid-S Tudor Black Bay monochrome. You pay almost $10,000 for a Rolex Submariner. And a Royal Oak extra thin, it costs like $36,000.
You pay $4,400 for a Tudor Black Bay, almost $10,000 for a Rolex Submariner, and a Royal Oak Extra Thin will set you back $36,000. The word cheap doesn't exist in the luxury watch vocabulary. These timepieces are marketed as the pinnacle of craftsmanship, precision engineering, and exclusivity, the ultimate symbol of success. But what if that premium Swiss watch on your wrist isn't exactly what you think it is? What if that handcrafted Swiss precision you've been flexing is actually born under fluorescent lights in a Chinese factory next to 1,000 other identical pieces? Imagine spending your hard-earned money on what you believe is Swiss precision only to discover it shares more DNA with a factory assembly line than a watchmaker's workshop. The watch industry has maintained an aura of exclusivity and craftsmanship for centuries. The image of a white-haired Swiss craftsman hunched over a tiny workbench, meticulously placing gears with tweezers, has been carefully cultivated. It's romantic, it's prestigious, and it might be one of the biggest illusions in luxury goods.
95% of the world's watches are made here, including the one you're wearing right now. Many big brand watches are produced or sourced for parts from here. This place is Shenzhen City, the world watch capital city. And in Shenzhen, you must not miss this factory.
Asking y'all should receive. Tisa, where are the watch manufacturers? I did some digging and I found the watch manufacturers. There is a new scandal coming out of the luxury watch division. Listen, if you want to keep going to Rolex, if you want to keep going to AP and spending your money, go and do that. However, industry insiders are coming out, and I have their videos. People have even been fired from it for lifting the hood away from the
Right now, the luxury watch industry is facing a crisis. China just dropped the receipts, and a wave of viral TikToks and insider leaks have torn the velvet curtain off the watch world. And we're not talking about knockoffs or replicas. We're talking real parts, real materials, real manufacturers. This is about brand lies, factory truths, and a $380 billion illusion that's finally cracking under pressure. Let's start with a shocking truth. Over 95% of the world's watches are made in China, specifically in Shenzhen City, the world watch capital. This isn't some back alley operation. This is the Silicon Valley of watch manufacturing. The same city that produces smartphone components and precision instruments also creates high-end watch dials, bezels, and bracelets with laser accuracy. Shenzhen's watch district spans multiple city blocks, housing thousands of workers in gleaming factory buildings with state-of-the-art CNC machines, precision laser cutters, and quality control systems that rival anything you'd find in Switzerland. Multiple factories in Shenzhen openly claim they manufacture components for Omega, Tag Heuer, and yes, even Rolex. Real sapphire crystal, ceramic bezels, steel link bracelets with mirror polish finishes, all made with precision at scale and delivered worldwide. And these factories aren't hiding. They offer catalogs, customization options, and direct order capabilities. They proudly give tours to anyone who asks. Some even have showrooms where you can see the entire manufacturing process from raw materials to finished timepieces.
Most Swiss watches are actually made in China, and the reason that replicas often look just as good as the original is that they are made in the same factory.
They offer a wider range of styles to choose from, maintain strict production standards, and can support customization, starting from just 50 pieces. What? Worry about them are just middlemen? You contact them directly.
One factory manager, speaking under condition of anonymity, revealed that they produce stainless steel cases that are indistinguishable from those used by a top Swiss brand. Same steel grade, same machines, same processes, he explained. The only difference is the logo that gets added later. He showed documentation of large orders being shipped directly to locations in Switzerland and Germany, where they would later emerge as authentic luxury pieces. So why do the replicas look so real? Because in many cases they come from the exact same place. That's why when collectors put genuine watches and high-end replicas side by side, they struggle to tell the difference. The finishing is identical. The weight is identical. Even the tiny beveled edges on the case match perfectly. That's not coincidence, that's shared manufacturing. That little Swiss-made label, it's not what you think. Many consumers believe it means the entire watch was built in Switzerland by skilled artisans. The reality? Legally, for a watch to wear that stamp, only 60% of the watch's value has to come from Switzerland. Not the components, not the assembly, just the monetary value. This loophole was actually expanded in 2017 when it was changed from 50% to 60%, but with broader definitions of what counts as Swiss value.
Watches come in different sizes. A small dial makes your wrist slimmer, while a large one makes you a stronger error. First of all, you need to determine your budget range. The Rolex Data Dress is the best choice for cost effective.
I'm going to Fire Herald. Why? The watch is a fake.
What's fake about it?
According to the serial number,
It doesn't correspond to that watch.
What counts as value? Branding, marketing, final movement installation, even just polishing the case in Geneva, research and development costs, intellectual property, corporate overhead. These all count toward that 60% threshold. So a watch could be built entirely in Shenzhen, dial, case, bracelet, even assembled, and then one person in Switzerland installs the movement and buffs the glass. Boom! It's legally Swiss-made. It's one of the sneakiest loopholes in luxury history. Take the movement, the engine of the watch. Many consumers believe their luxury watch contains a movement built entirely in Switzerland, but movements themselves can contain Chinese-made parts while still qualifying as Swiss-made as long as the final assembly and inspection occurs in Switzerland. It's like claiming a car is American-made when the engine, transmission, and body panels come from overseas, but it was assembled in Detroit. The brands won't correct this misunderstanding because confusion is profitable. They'll keep letting you believe your Rolex was built by artisans in Swiss cottages while paying Shenzhen factories pennies to mass-produce the real thing. Their marketing tells a beautiful story of tradition, craftsmanship, and heritage, showing you master watchmakers with decades of experience painstakingly assembling each piece by hand. But the economics don't add up. How could a global brand producing hundreds of thousands of watches annually maintain that level of handcrafted attention? The math simply doesn't work.
Perpetuals.
You want to start adding Rolex to your collection? These are the 5 cheapest Rolex watches that you can buy right now. First one, we got the 36mm Datejust 16220 with the engine turn bezel and is worth around $6,500. The next watch is a 36mm Datejust 16014 with the blue dial and fluted bezel. This one is priced at around $6,200.
Industry insiders confirm that many luxury brands have been quietly outsourcing for decades. One veteran watch distributor explained, "In the 1990s, when China's manufacturing capabilities exploded, many Swiss brands had a choice: maintain traditional methods and go extinct, or adapt by outsourcing while maintaining the mystique." Guess which path they chose? This scandal didn't come from traditional media. It started with Reddit threads and spilled onto TikTok. Watch enthusiasts began connecting dots, sharing factory catalogs that looked suspiciously like luxury brand offerings, just without the logos. Then came the whistleblowers. Former employees from major watch houses stepped forward with damning evidence. One man who worked on vintage watches from the 70s was fired after asking too many questions. He noticed components being labeled Swiss that were clearly Asian-made, different metallurgy, different finishing techniques, even microscopic manufacturer marks that didn't match Swiss production methods. He documented everything, created a dossier of evidence, and was promptly let go with a hefty NDA and severance package. Other whistleblowers shared similar stories: movements being swapped last minute, branding stickers added in Europe to watches built entirely in Asia, quality control teams instructed to approve components that didn't meet specifications as long as the flaws weren't visible to the naked eye. One quality inspector revealed that during factory tours for VIP clients, pre-assembled movements were disassembled so watchmakers could demonstrate assembly for visitors, only to be put back together by machine once the guests left. A technician from a major brand's service center shared that when watches came in for repair, they would often find internal components with Chinese factory codes that had to be replaced with official parts before returning to customers. Not because they were inferior, but because they weren't supposed to be there in the first place. "We called it purifying the watch," he explained, "making sure what the customer saw matched the story they were sold." Why isn't mainstream media covering this? Simple. Follow the money. The watch industry spends billions annually on marketing. Open any luxury magazine and count the watch ads. Turn on any high-profile sporting event and spot the watch sponsorships. From tennis tournaments to Formula One races, watch brands are pumping money into media outlets. Watch brands pour millions into ad placements, magazine features, and influencer sponsorships. Outlets like GQ and Esquire get paid for glossy spreads and glowing reviews. A single 2-page spread in a high-end magazine can cost upwards of $250,000. A dedicated special watch issue can represent millions in revenue. These publications won't bite the hand that gifts them free watches and flies them to Baselworld with all expenses paid. Influencers fare even worse. They're gifted watches worth tens of thousands of dollars, flown to private events in exotic locations, and paid handsomely for loyalty. One watch YouTuber with over 1 million subscribers privately admitted, "If I told the truth about where these watches come from, I'd lose half my income overnight. Brand deals, affiliate links, special access, it would all disappear." One bad review and those brand deals vanish, and watch brands are notoriously vindictive. Criticize one model and you might never get another press sample or invitation again. Now imagine being a journalist wanting to break this story. You'd be going up against the combined legal might of multi-billion-dollar corporations potentially facing defamation lawsuits while simultaneously cutting off major advertising revenue for your employer. It's career suicide. That's why this truth is coming from anonymous sources on social media rather than investigative journalists at major publications. Something else remarkable happened that shook the industry to its core. Rolex, a brand that famously never discounts, suddenly dropped prices on select models by 10 to 20%. Let that sink in. A brand built on exclusivity and value retention, a brand that prides itself on year-long waiting lists and increasing prices, suddenly slashed prices with no announcement. Submariner GMT Master 2, Oyster Perpetual, quietly discounted across multiple markets. The brand said nothing officially, but collectors and resellers immediately noticed, and the forums exploded with speculation. One authorized dealer in Singapore confirmed, "We received new pricing guidance overnight. No explanation, just new numbers that were significantly lower." The timing? Right after those viral TikToks exposing Shenzhen factories gained millions of views. Coincidence? Hardly. This was damage control. As one industry analyst noted, Rolex doesn't react to market conditions, they create them. This was pure panic mode, trying to change the conversation from manufacturing origins to affordability. These factories are now openly promoting parallel builds. Not knockoffs, but the same parts, same materials, just no logo. This isn't the black market of previous decades. This is transparent, professional, and increasingly mainstream. They call them factory homage or OEM or same line release. It's basically, we built it, but legally can't say it's for Rolex. One factory owner explained, "We use the same 316L stainless steel, same sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, same ceramic bezel insert technology. Even the bracelet links are produced on identical machinery. The only difference is we don't charge for the crown logo." Another was more blunt. "We produce 10,000 units. 8,000 go to Switzerland with no branding, 2,000 stay here, and we sell them ourselves. Some are even custom building luxury watches based on your specs. Dial size, bracelet style, sapphire or mineral glass? Want a 39mm case instead of 41mm? No problem. Prefer a blue dial instead of black? They'll make it." These aren't shady backroom operations. They have websites, customer service teams, and quality guarantees. Many even offer 2-year warranties. And where is all this happening? Not on sketchy street corners, but on legitimate e-commerce platforms, professional Telegram channels, and through direct factory representatives. You're not getting some plastic fake from a tourist trap. You're buying directly from manufacturing sources that supply the industry itself. Let's do the math. Insiders estimate a Rolex that retails for $10,000 actually costs around $1,500 to make. That's less than 15% of the retail price. A former pricing analyst for a luxury watch group broke it down. Materials and labor might be $800, $1,000. Add another $500 for shipping, import duties, and final assembly in Switzerland. That's it, the rest is markup. The remaining $8,500? That goes to dealers, marketing, maintaining artificial scarcity, celebrity endorsements, and eye-watering profit margins. Luxury watch brands spend hundreds of millions annually on marketing alone. Tennis tournaments, Formula One teams, celebrity ambassadors, glossy magazine ads, it all adds up. That's why Rolex can afford to be a non-profit foundation. The system makes billions without needing to share a profit report with shareholders or the public. By operating as the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation, Rolex maintains complete secrecy over its finances while generating estimated revenues of over $8 billion annually. The structure is brilliant. No shareholders demanding transparency, no public filings, no pressure to reveal the true costs behind their products. What you're really buying isn't metal and gears. You're buying the illusion of exclusivity. And once you realize that, it's either empowering or enraging. Watchmaking was once truly about craftsmanship, about artisans passing down techniques through generations. That authentic tradition still exists in small, independent watchmakers. The true artists of the industry who produce maybe 50 watches a year, each one genuinely handcrafted, but that's not what we're talking about when we discuss major brands producing hundreds of thousands of units annually. The most brilliant aspect of this illusion? Making you believe you're part of an exclusive club while mass-producing the memberships, creating artificial scarcity through wait lists and limited releases while warehouses store thousands of pieces. One authorized dealer confessed, "We tell customers there's a 2-year wait for this model while we have dozens sitting in the back. It's about making them feel special when they finally get the call." Luxury isn't just about quality, it's about certainty. Knowing what's on your wrist, knowing where it came from, it's the confidence of authenticity, the peace of mind that comes from buying from an authorized source, the emotional satisfaction of earning something prestigious. That psychological component is perhaps even more valuable than the physical watch. Now, to be fair, there are still differences between parallel builds and authorized watches. Quality control might be less consistent, after-sale service is definitely inferior. And there's still the matter of replicas and counterfeits, which are different from these factory parallels we're discussing. Replicas might survive an Instagram story under soft lighting, but up close they reveal themselves. Ticking sounds that are too loud, edges that aren't beveled right, screws that strip too easily. Cheap fakes use inferior materials that tarnish quickly, movements that fail within months, and finishing that can't withstand scrutiny. True watch enthusiasts can spot these from across the room, but that's not what's causing panic in the industry. It's the factory parallels that are virtually indistinguishable. When a watch collector with 30 years of experience can't tell the difference between a $10,000 authorized piece and a $1,000 parallel build without using specialized tools, that's when the emperor's new clothes start to unravel. The Swiss-made label? A marketing illusion carefully crafted over decades. The exclusivity? Manufactured through controlled distribution and artificial wait lists. The prices? Arbitrary and disconnected from production costs. The entire luxury watch industry is built on perception, not production reality. A watch industry consultant who works with several major brands summed it up. What these brands sell isn't timekeeping. Digital watches have been more accurate since the 1970s. What they sell is status, heritage, and aspiration. 3 things that cost nothing to produce but everything to buy. But here's the wild part. It's not even about being scammed. It's about what you believe. Because if you know the game and you still want in, that's not delusion, that's power. You're not fooled, you're choosing the fantasy. There's something almost liberating about understanding the system and participating anyway, eyes wide open. Many collectors who know the truth still choose the authorized route. As one veteran collector explained, "I know exactly where the components come from. I know the markup is insane. I still buy from my authorized dealer because I want the experience, the warranty, and yes, the prestige. I'm buying the whole package, not just the watch." Luxury was never just about craftsmanship. It's about identity, about walking into a room and making people look twice. It's the silent nod from someone across the room who recognizes what's on your wrist. It's about joining the ranks of those who can afford to participate in an exclusive game, whether it's watches, cars, fashion, or real estate. That Submariner on your wrist tells a story about who you are or who you want others to believe you are. It signals success, taste, appreciation for tradition. It connects you to a heritage, to icons like James Bond, to a certain lifestyle aesthetic. That's valuable even if the watch itself costs far less to produce than what you paid. But now the curtain's been pulled back. The mythology has cracks. The emperor's clothes look increasingly transparent. So the question is, do you still want to play? Will you buy a watch for what it is or for what it represents? Can you enjoy the illusion when you can see the stage machinery working behind it? Some collectors have pivoted entirely to independent watchmakers, small artisans producing truly handcrafted pieces with transparent pricing and production. Others embrace the parallel market, buying unlabeled factory pieces while spending the savings elsewhere. Some stick with big brands but buy vintage when manufacturing was still largely in-house. And many still happily participate in the luxury game, accepting the markup as the cost of admission to an exclusive club. Now you've seen the factories, you know what OEM really means, you've watched Rolex blink first and quietly lower prices, you've seen the whispers turn to headlines, you've seen the manufacturing tricks, the marketing deceptions, and the price disparities that make no practical sense. You've got the receipts, and that knowledge is leverage. The industry is already reacting. Beyond Rolex's quiet price adjustments, other brands are making moves. Some are doubling down on heritage marketing, emphasizing traditional craftsmanship more than ever, even as their production becomes increasingly automated. Others are pivoting to innovation claims rather than tradition. A few brave brands are increasing transparency about their manufacturing processes. One mid-tier Swiss brand recently started explicitly acknowledging their global supply chain, promoting it as combining Swiss expertise with global excellence. It remains to be seen whether this transparency approach will succeed or backfire. Meanwhile, several Chinese manufacturers who previously only worked behind the scenes are launching their own branded watches, offering Swiss quality without Swiss markup. Because now you're not just a customer, you're a conscious buyer. You know the markup, the myths, and the machinery behind the sparkle? You understand that when you pay $10,000 for a watch, perhaps $1,500 goes to making it and $8,500 goes to maintaining the illusion around it. And that awareness, that's where the real value lies. This knowledge changes the power dynamic. It means you can decide, with full clarity, whether the brand experience is worth the premium. It means you can explore alternatives with confidence rather than fear of being judged. It means you can even buy the authorized piece as a conscious choice rather than as someone duped by marketing. The watch on your wrist tells time, but it also tells a story about you, about your values, about what matters to you. Understanding the true origins of luxury watches doesn't diminish their beauty or craftsmanship. These are still magnificent objects, engineering marvels that represent centuries of horological evolution. The question is simply whether that justifies the markup, and only you can answer that for yourself. Are luxury watches still worth it now that you know the truth? Is the authorized dealer experience, the warranty, the brand association worth the premium over parallel builds using similar or identical components? Is Rolex trying to become more accessible, or are they shook that the veil slipped? Will other brands follow suit with price adjustments? Will the industry embrace transparency or fight harder to maintain the illusion? The luxury watch industry has survived many challenges. The quartz crisis of the 1970s, the smartwatch revolution, economic downturns. It will likely survive this revelation too, but it may be forever changed. As consumers become more informed, the power dynamics shift. The mystique fades, replaced by informed consumerism. The industry is changing, and this time, the clock is ticking against them. The age of blind luxury worship is ending. The age of conscious luxury consumption is just beginning. Whether you choose to participate in that luxury market is up to you, but now, at least you'll be doing it with your eyes wide open.